Hello everyone, this is Zeke again, your dedicated product engineer. And today we're going to discuss more about the configuration templates and the patch management within your ITSM. Okay. So first off here, I'm in the profiles and I have two tabs up here, the profiles and the default profiles. So this profile is actually all about the configuration or the settings that you can apply to your machine, to a group of machines, and to the users. Okay, so we also have the alerts, and alerts is where I can configure whether it will send me an email, when it will send me an email, the notification in the portal, or by creating a ticket to my service desk. And procedures is where I can create a script procedure, which is again based on Python scripting, a patch procedure, and a third-party patch procedure. And all of these types of procedure can be deployed to my endpoint per device, to multiple device, or by schedule. Okay, so let's go back to the profiles. All right, and again, I have two tabs up here. I have the profiles and default profiles. First one shows me all the profiles that I have in here, and the default profiles just shows me which are the profiles declared as a default one. And I can assign multiple default profiles per device platform. But for now, as you can see, I only have one profile per device platform. I have one for Windows, OS X, Android, and iOS. Okay. But there's another classification of profile that is not actually in here. It is a predefined profile. It might be confused about what's the predefined and what's the default profile. So the profiles that are declared as a default profile right here is the profile that is being applied to the endpoints that doesn't have a profile in it yet. So remember when we discussed before that when I enroll a device using the over-the-air method, I only specify the owner and the company here. But I cannot specify the device group and the profile. So there's always a default that catches this type of machines that comes into ITSM, which doesn't have a profile in the device group. Okay, so in this case, this is the default profile that is being applied to any incoming Windows machines to my ITSM. Okay, so that's the use of the default profile. Now, going back to the predefined profile, the predefined profiles are this. Okay, so we have six. One for OS X, one for Android, one for iOS, and three for Windows. Now, why do we have three predefined profiles for Windows? We have standard, we have optimum, and we have hardened. So the reason why we have three is because this is the only device platform where we can install the advanced endpoint protection or the Komodo client security. As you know, our Komodo client security is a multi-layered protection. So this is where we can actually put the different configuration that you can apply to your endpoints. Um, and our developers designed different levels for this security settings. We have again the standard, the optimum, and the hardened. So standard is more on the security. So more on the performance, right? So the security may suffer a little, but it can make sure that your computer will still run on its best performance. Right, so that's what the standard is for. So if you're going to install Komodo client security for an old endpoint, it'll be much better if you apply the standard profile first. Okay, then we have the optimum Windows profile. So this is the default profile. When you create your Komodo One account and you log into ITSM, this is the very first default profile that you will have for Windows. Okay, in my case, I just change the default profile. So the one that shows here is the demo hardened profile. Okay, because I can actually change the default profile. All right, so going back, the optimum Windows profile is a balance of the security and the performance. All right, while the hardened is focusing more on the security, and the performance may suffer a little bit. Okay, because it enables another layer of security we called HIPS, and it's a type of a layer of security that tries to understand and adapt the behavior of an application that is currently installed in your endpoint. Okay, so if something changes and there's a new application that comes into the endpoint, that's the time that's going to take some action. That's the additional security that we have for the hardened. All right, but we're going to have a much detailed discussion about the security settings when we hit the POC demo. For now, we're going to focus on what we have in the profiles for, or the main features that we have for ITSM, for the device management and also the patch management. Okay, so let me go here right now and show you my Windows profile. So I actually cloned the hardened Windows profile. That's why it still has this suffix, and my prefix for this is the demo. So this is what I use for my demos. Um, yeah. So, oh, actually, before we get into this, let me discuss first what are the different ways of applying the profile to the device. Okay, before I get into the settings right here. So the very first one is associating the device or the profile directly to the device. So if I go here to this demo PC and I go to manage profile and I apply the profile right here, let's say I want to apply the optimal Windows profile. Okay, and let me go back to the device, the demo PC, right? And then here it's going to show you right now that the profile that is associated to my demo PC is the optimum Windows profile. Now, it actually removed my demo hardened profile because it was applied here as a default. Okay, since I apply the profile right here, it is going to take over whatever default profile I have. It is not going to apply it on top of it. It's going to take over the default profile, right? And this is called custom application of the profile to the machine. Okay, so again, if ever you have let's say 2 or 3 uh, default profiles right here, as soon as I apply a profile this way, it's going to take over all those 3 profiles because they're just default profiles. And again, the definition of default profiles is they are the ones who's going to catch the machines that doesn't have any profiles applied into it. That doesn't have any custom profile applied into it. But in this case, since I applied a custom profile, it got rid of the default profiles. All right. So now you will notice that if I'm going to remove this custom profile again, it should bring back the default profile. So it is assigned as a default. Okay. Next we go to the second method of applying the profile to the device, which is by the device group. Okay. So this demo PC is under my Z Corp company, and let's go for the default group Z Corp. All right. So since the profile or since the device is applied to this group, I can now go to the group management tab and apply the profile from here. If I have 10 machines right here and I apply the profile to this group, it is going to all of these 10 machines will follow the same profile, which is the profile that is assigned to the group. Okay, and if you go by here and you go back to associated profiles, you will see the profile that you applied to the group, and you will see under source associated that it is applied by the group, colon, and then the group name. Okay, so that's how it looks like. And then the third way of applying the profile is by the users. So as you know, we can enroll devices using the owner, the company, the device group, and then the profile. Right? So as soon as you apply the profile to this guy, and I have 3 devices right here, it means that I'm applying the profile to all of these machines. Okay? So if you actually enroll all your devices under the account admin name, which is in my case, this is my account admin, that means that I'm declaring the profile globally. Okay? But if you are following the format of enrolling the devices by the technician who's using or who's managing them, you can also just apply the profile like per group or per department or per technician. And you can also apply the profile by the decision maker. So one decision maker for one company. If you have 4 companies here like mine, company A to company B, I can just apply profile to 4 people, which are the decision makers, and I will just have one general policy or profile for per company. Okay, and then the last one is if you're going to add all the end users, which is going to be hard, because what's going to happen there is you have no choice but to apply the profile per device group. Okay, but then again, applying the profile to the user would be an option for you, especially if you follow the format that I was saying. So again, that is by enrolling the device all under your name, or applying the profile to the technicians, to the decision makers of the company, or adding all the end users. Okay, so yeah. Next one is by the user group. So this is usually uh, being used by admins if they are managing thousands of devices. So this is for larger scale of operations. All right. So let's say you have you know 10 machines per department, and then you have all the end users, your end users synced in here. Then you can also apply one end user to the device, like what I showed you before in the Active Directory setup. When you synchronize your Active Directory here, it will get the device group or the user group, and then all the users in it. All right. So if you enroll devices for each of that end user, and you have let's say thousands of devices that corresponds to each of that user, you can just apply the profile to the user group. So every user below this user group and every devices per user will follow the same profile. So that's how it works. So you can also just create your own users. Let's say for here, their device list. Okay, let's say company. Yeah, all right. So company D, I have laptop, servers, and workstation. And let's say I applied a technician specifically managing the laptops, technician specifically managing the servers, and the technician specifically managing the workstations. Right. So all those users, so meaning all the devices that goes to this laptop will go to technician 1. All the devices that goes to the server goes to technician 2. All the devices for the workstation goes to technician 3. Then I can now go to the user, create a user group, and I'll name the user group technicians for company D, like this one. All right. And then I will just apply all the users that I have for company B, and then I will apply the profile to the user group. So every user under that user group, and all the devices that corresponds to that user will follow the same profile. Okay. So again, that is usually being used for large scale operations. Okay. Next we have the alerts. Let's go here. All right. So I have here my alert. And for the general tab, it's just about the alert name and the description. There's nothing to discuss there. Then we go straight to the alert settings. So the very first one here allows you to set up the interval per alert that is being generated. So do not create additional alerts about the same issue for your interval, if it's going to be a day, 2 days, 5 days, and so on. Okay. And then you can also create the notification in the portal. So it talks about the yellow bell button and the Komodo 1 main menu. Let me just log in here. This one. So if there's something that has been triggered, the alert will show up here in the notifications. All right. Just for example, this one. So this was generated by the alert. Okay. And then you can also create an alert ticket on the service desk. So if you want to create a ticket automatically, if there's something that has been triggered, then it will automatically create a ticket, and all the options down here are the options for the ticket. So you can append to an original ticket if there is an open ticket for performance monitoring conditions. Automatically close the ticket if the metrics go below the threshold. And the tickets in which department, the tickets with high priority, and the additional device data and metrics. Okay. Then the additional recipients. So you can send emails if monitoring or procedure register alerts more than the selected number of consecutive times. So you can always send emails or pick a specific number. Sent to the portal administrator. So it talks about yourself as the account admin, the administrators, and also the technicians. Send to the following email addresses. So it can be anyone. You can type in any email address for as long as it's a valid email format. And send to the following portal users. So it talks about the guest users that you have within the ITSM portal. Okay. So, yep. Let's cancel out this one. Next, we have the procedures. Oops. So under the procedures, again, we can create a script, a patch, and third-party patch. Okay, so let's go first with the script procedure. So I have this test script right here. Okay, so under the general tab, of course, you can type in the name of the script, the description, the folder, where it goes, and the alert settings. So you can be alerted if the procedure fails. Okay, and then of course it's going to apply the default alert, but you can also apply your custom alert, which is in my case that's called my alert. Okay, so if after deploying this and it fails, then I will get alerted. Okay, then under the view procedure, this is where I can do my codes. I can put my Python script, and another good thing about this script procedure is I can actually go to this page, the scripts.komodo.com. This is closely being monitored by our developers. This is where all the codes that has been requested by other MSPs are being published. So we can browse here. Like for example, you want to look for uninstall McAfee. So if there are specific tasks that you want to get done to your system using a script, maybe it is already existing based off the request of other MSPs before, then you can search it from here. So like this one, uninstalling McAfee has been one of the concern of our MSPs. So our developers published a code to uninstall this application. Okay, so I can just click on the name, I can get the code, just copy the entire thing, and then go back to my code area, and then I'll just paste this. Okay, I can also add the procedure coming from the predefined procedures that I have right here. So these are the officially uh, uploaded and published procedure by our developers. Okay, so procedure that is applicable for everyone basically. Okay, but of course there are also procedures that are specifically needed for their company. So in those type of cases, you can just go here and then request for your own script. Again, that's scripts.komodo.com. And then you will see the request new script button there. Okay. After you click that request new script, it's going to open a forum page. Yeah, this one. So as you can see, it opened up a new website in a new portal. It's forum.mspconsortium.com. This is still under Komodo. This is the official forum of Komodo for MSPs and enterprise users. So you just have to log in using your Komodo One account. And then you can, this is actually being monitored even by our CEO. It is being closely monitored by developers as well. So if there are requests right here, even if it's not just script, even if it's about a feature that you want to be added in Komodo One, and our CEO thinks that it is cool, it is something that is needed by everyone, our CEO will push the developers to prioritize it. Okay, but again, this is specifically this page. The script request, Komodo will write the scripts for you for free. This thread is specifically made for request about your, about a task that you want to get done in your system. Okay. Okay, so let me just go back right here. All right. So as soon as you have your codes ready, you can just click save, and then you can now start reviewing this procedure. Okay. So the review process is important, especially if it's made by your technicians, and the USD admin of course can approve it. So in my case, I'm the admin, but it's still not going to automatically approve it. So I'll just have to click ready to review, and I can decide either if I want to approve or decline it. Okay, so as soon as it is approved, I can now start running it to my endpoints. I can run it to all devices or just selected device. So I can call on my demo PC and run it. Okay. Then we have this schedule tab right here. So this schedule tab is not where you're going to do the scheduling of this script. Okay. This is just where you can monitor in which profile the script is applied and scheduled, and when it will be executed, and the schedule. Okay. Then we have the execution log. So execution log just shows you, where it was executed, in which device, started by whom, launch type, if it was deployed to the endpoint manually or by schedule, and things like that. Okay, so that is for the script procedure. It is almost the same for other procedures right here, but let me show you the patch procedure. So same format for the script procedure. You got the name here, the description, the folder, and the alert setting. And for the execution option, of course, you're not going to do some codes here. You just have to select the types of updates that you would want to deploy. So you can choose critical, definition updates, feature packs, and so on. And then as soon as you selected the types of updates you would want to deploy, You can now save it, and then you can start running it to your machines without reviewing and approving the procedure. All right, so we only need the approval process for the scripting. Okay, but for the patch and third-party patch, you don't need it. Then of course we need a restart control option, unlike with the script procedure. This one is required for especially for critical updates, but regardless of the type of update that you're deploying in here, you have the option to choose your restart option. If you want to force a reboot, suppress, or warn the user about a reboot. Then the schedule and the execution logs just the same with the script. Schedule is where you can view the schedule of this patch procedure. And the execution log, just like this one, shows you where it was executed. So this was one was executed in demo PC, started by a profile, but it's already been removed, scheduled, and things like that. And I also have the details right here that shows me what exactly happened to this procedure. Okay. Okay. Next we go to the third-party patch. Okay, so this one. It is also the same for the general tab. There's no difference, and the rest like restart control options, the schedule and execution logs, just the same with the patch procedure. The only difference is the execution options. So you can update all the third-party application or update only the selected application. And then here in this box at the bottom, you can search for the name of the patch, the third-party patch that you want to run. Okay, and it will give you the list down there. Or you can also visit our doc guide at help.komodo.com and search for the supported third-party patch. Okay, so this is just about viewing and installing. Actually, not this one. It is under the applications, patch management, and then ITSM supported third-party application. So I can actually just send this link to you after this demo. Okay, but you can still go to just go to the help.komodo.com, look for the ITSM right here, go to the administrator guide, and then follow this tree here under applications, patch management, installing a third-party application, and ITSM supported third-party application. Okay. Right, so that's all for the procedures. All right. So next, we're going to discuss about the monitoring of a profile. So this is what you'd been seeing from my notifications window earlier about the monitoring. Now let me open this up right here and go to the monitoring tab. So this monitoring profile is actually a feature of the Komodo client communication, or ITSM. Most of the things that you see here are security settings for the advanced endpoint protection, or Komodo client security. But monitoring, this works even you don't have Komodo client security installed. Okay. And then since this is pulled from the hardened Windows profile, I already have a monitoring here called recommended performance monitoring, defined by our developers, and it's monitoring the CPU usage, RAM, and network usage. That if it goes more than 75% for 5 minutes, you'll get a notification. Now, the notification is still based off of your own alert setting. So you can, keep the default alert, but you can also, of course, specify your own alert setting. Okay, and then, of course, the name, pretty basic description, and the trigger an alert if any or all of the conditions are met. So I have 3 conditions right here. If any or all of these conditions are met, I will get the notification, or I can also take an immediate action. All right. So if this thing happened, if those conditions are met, any or all, then you can take no action or run a procedure. So this takes a script procedure. So say for example, since my computer is slowing down, because these are the conditions that I actually did monitor, and I get an alert, I can start running a procedure called cleanup. Okay. So if this has been triggered, then this cleanup procedure will start running. Okay. So that's how basically how you can set up the monitoring. And for the conditions, of course, we're not only monitoring CPU, RAM, and network usage. This is just under the performance category. But we actually have a lot of events here that you can monitor, such as file size, folder size, disk, service, process, etc. Okay, so that's for the monitoring. Then next we have under the procedures. So again, these are the procedures that you can create: the script, the patch, and third-party patch. And going back to the profile, you can call in the procedure section, and then this is where you can do the schedule of your procedure. Right. So let's say I want to schedule the test patch. Okay. Click add. You didn't see anything from the test patch procedure earlier, but I'm opening it up in a new tab right now. I go to the schedule, and there you see the profile where it was scheduled in my demo hardened profile. Right. So yeah, basically again, what you see under the procedures tab, or under the actual procedure, and under the schedule tab, it only shows you the list of the schedule when and where it will be executed. While here in the profile, this is where you will really do the scheduling of your procedure. So I scheduled the patch procedure. I can also schedule a script. So there you will see the category there, script. I can also schedule a third-party procedure. There you go. So it tells you the type as well anyway, so it won't be confusing. But yeah, so that's how basically you can schedule your procedures. Okay. Another feature of our Komodo client communication. Actually, let me just remove this one right here. Um, remote control. Actually, I think I already have that one right here. Yep. So we have 4 options for taking remote access. So I believe the last time we talked, I showed you how to take a remote control to an endpoint. And it showed a notification at the bottom right corner of the screen that tells who tried to connect, and it gives the user the option to to cancel out or to end the remote session. All right, but here it will actually give you option if you want to silent a remote control access, meaning it wouldn't ask a permission, but will give you an access to remotely control the computer. You can also ask a permission, then allow after 30 seconds, or ask permission, then deny after 60 seconds. And then the last one is to do not allow remote control at all. Okay. So it will also give you this option to show notification to the device user about who connected. So that's the one that showed on my screen earlier, and allow endpoint user to terminate the connection. Okay. So even if it's silently remotely connecting to the endpoint, it will still show a notification unless you uncheck this. Right? So again, this is still a feature of our ITSM agent. It doesn't require Komodo client security. Right? Next, we have the client access control. Actually, the client access control is for both, for the endpoint security and for the ITSM agent. So I can just apply a password, a local administrator password, or a custom password that I can set up right here to give access to the Komodo client security and communication. So if someone is trying to change some settings locally to the security or trying to uninstall these applications to your endpoint, it will prompt for a password first before they can do some actions. All right, that's the client access control. Then next we're going to discuss is about the patch management. So we have three different ways of deploying the patches. One is per endpoint, so I will have to go to the device list, go to the actual device. So I'm going to try to deploy a patch directly to this demo PC machine. And actually, I believe we've discussed this before, but just to give you a little bit of refresher, this is where you can see all the patches available for this machine alone. And it has two tabs for Windows machine, or I mean for Windows patches and the third-party application patches. Okay, so for operating system, it'll be easier if you use this funnel. It is the filter option, so it can let you show only the available updates, and you can also choose the severity of what you're looking for right here. You can even use the title name if you know the title of the actual patch, or you can just search it by the KB number. Okay. But then again, I'm just looking for a random procedure by category, so I'm choosing available updates and the ones that is critical for my system. So then I can just select all these patches under this filter option, and then I can just click install patches. All right. But I'm not going to do that right now. So moving on to the third-party application, if I choose one application right here, it will allow me to update to the latest version. So right now my version is 13.0, but I can update this patch, or I mean this application, to the very last version of this application. But I can also apply or update to a specific version. So it will give me a drop down. So in this case, this is the latest version, so I cannot really do anything about this one. But let's say, for example, if the team viewer has a version 15.0, then in this option to update to a specific version, it will give me the version for 13, 14, and then 15. Okay. So that's for the third-party applications. And then this is actually per device deployment for the patch management. The second method of applying the patches is by schedule. So that's when I showed you earlier in the profiles. You'll just have to go here, look for the procedures, and then you can now click add test patch. So I can just call this Windows patch, or the other one, the test third party. Okay, then I can just pick the schedule here, then click add. So this is applying the patches by schedule. Then global deployment. The global deployment is under the applications menu and then patch management. So what do I mean by global deployment? This means that it is deploying the patches to all of your devices on the list that where this update is available. So like for an example, this one, it tells me under the installed column that this particular patch is installed to one of my devices. If I open this up in a new tab, it will tell me which machine is that. That is Susan. Okay, and it also tells me that this patch is available to one of my endpoints, and it's not yet installed, and that's the demo PC. Now all I got to do here is to just select the patch, click install patch, and then it will install it to all of the devices where it is not installed yet. Okay, Right? So if I have 10 right here, and I select this, install patches, this becomes 11 because I will be adding 10 more. 10 more endpoints where this patch should be installed. Okay. If I check everything right here, and by the way, again, this is the list of the patches for all the device platform version. So I'm talking about Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10. So these are the patches for all of those device platform version or operating system version. Okay. So yeah, that is for the global deployment. All right, so that's pretty much everything about the configuration templates, about profile specifically for ITSM agent or the ITSM features, the alert settings, and also about the procedures. Okay, so yeah, if ever that you have any questions in the future, just let us know, and we're going to have another discussion about mobile device management, which is our next demo. Okay, thank you so much again for your time, and have a great day.